Thank you.
Let's bring in Brian Foley, former homicide detective and retired Connecticut cop. And Brian, I want to jump off with this concept of setting a perimeter. And work with me here for a second. So you heard Molly Line during her initial coverage when she first arrived on scene describing during her drive up from Boston, cops, police, state police, all sorts of law enforcement resources throughout the entire journey. And that brings me back 10 years, Brian, to when the Boston Marathon bombing happened. And I drove up 84 to try to see where the guy was. And you know where? You had Connecticut State Police all throughout 84. We didn't know the guy would be found in Franklin. It happened in Franklin, but we didn't know that was going to be the case. So with this concept of perimeter, what is the coordination happening in the Northeast, in New England, potentially all the way up to Canada?
So, yes, Todd, I thought of Boston, too, when the whole community felt like it was under siege. And if you're a parent in Maine, anywhere close to this, or you want to send your kid to school today, it's going to be a difficult situation for the entire community up in there, wherever there's going to be multiple locations where they're looking. But, yes, first of all, there'll be travel restrictions. The cops will do some basic stuff, airports, train stations, buses. This suspect's not going to be able to move without somebody looking for him. Once daylight comes, the tips are going to start coming in. People in Maine are going to see cops everywhere with body armor, anything. Right now, they don't have a suspect. They have a suspect vehicle. We don't know if he's into another one now. So it's tough to have, state lines with troopers watching in Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, on again, the border of Canada. But all those places are going to have the travel restriction on this guy, and he's not going to be able to move or get out of there. There's a lot of perimeters, and as Agent Gilliam said, he's in the woods, and he has a will to live, which is odd. So many of these things end in suicide. They're going to have thermal imagery. They're going to have drones. They're going to have helicopters. Every TAC team in that state has been mobilized. All hands on deck. Canines, bloodhounds, everything are going in to look for this person. The tips are going to come. The tips are going to start coming in, Todd, and this isn't exactly a shoplifter we're looking for. This is a certified firearms instructor with military, and you saw the BDUs he was wearing, with the clips in them and everything. You can't just send a couple cops to go knock on a door when these tips come in. You have to send a TAC team, a full TAC team, to every location that this suspect might be. But I think they're going to look at his cell phone. They already have everything on this guy. They have his cell phone. So now they're going to do ex parte orders for the GPS on his cell phone. Not obviously where he is if he has on it, but where he has been recently is equally important. If he's held up in the woods, if he has somewhere where he's known to hide out, they're going to track back on his GPS. Where does he go in these areas often and start looking in those places as well. The incident commander is going to have teams at so many different locations. The state's going to have to come in, obviously, and the feds. I also wonder, Todd, given that this guy's in the reserve, is the military going to come in and assist to find the suspect? But again, overnight, all hands on deck. Every cop's putting in that trauma plate in their TAC vest. Every cop's getting their helmet. If they have an AR or a high-powered rifle, they're grabbing that. And they're putting together as many teams as they can just to be ready.
Yeah, without question. And Brian, we were just showing that surveillance footage of this person of interest wearing the brown sweatshirt, holding the gun, clearly looking to kill anybody that he can find, chilling to anybody's standards. But what does a police officer see when they look at this image? Does anything stand out to you?
Like I said, those BDU pockets on his pants there, they appear to be bulging out, which means he has, I would guess, magazines in there, additional rounds in there. This guy's a firearms instructor, certified firearms instructor. He's going to have more access to firearms than the average person. So he's going to be well prepared. I'm surprised he doesn't have a visible TAC vest on there. On his persons, but it certainly could be under his sweatshirt. But he's going to have access to all of that stuff as well. So this is for a cop looking at it. You see somebody holding a gun like that, and this is the person I'm supposed to get. Well, he's better with a firearm than I am, and I'm not bad. And most cops, have some pretty good level of training with a firearm. He's equal to that or better.
And that's why when you said, I wonder if they bring in the military, that's a really interesting point. Military versus military, a fascinating point there. Brian, thank you very much for your insight. Appreciate it.